guys, it's your boy, Barca Boy 103. Today we're going to be doing the match preview for Barcelona versus Atalanta in the Champions League. It's the final group stage match as we conclude the new format with 8 freaking group stage games. Barcelona already qualified in the top 8, playing now basically for positioning in the table, and you could say a bit more money as well. Very difficult opponent, and Atalanta, the first time these two teams face in the history of football. Before we get into it, make sure you guys smash that like button down below, and let's try and get to 200 likes on this video. It would be very much appreciated. And also, if you are new, make sure you subscribe down below if you haven't already, and let's get into it. Kickoff time for this match will be taking place at 9 p.m. local time, so regular kickoff time in the Champions League. In this match will be taking place at the Lluís Companys Stadium in Montjuic, which of course is the temporary home of Barcelona. And the referee for this match is the English twat himself, Michael Oliver. After the controversy he had over the past weekend in the Arsenal Wolves game, he's only gone and bloody gone the Barcelona game. I don't know how he's managed to do that, but he will be the referee in tomorrow's fixture. Let's start off by taking a look at the Champions League table, where Barcelona are currently sat in second place on 18 points after, of course, playing 7 matches. We have 6 wins and 1 loss. So again, top 8 is guaranteed. We're now trying to confirm at least second place, if not first. The only way we can get first is if Liverpool lose their game to PSV, and of course we win, and all that we need is a draw to get second place guaranteed, because Arsenal and Inter can still overtake us on points. So if they win their games and we lose, we could drop down to as low as 4th, I believe. I think we have a way better goal defense than Atletico Madrid, so if they win and we lose, they still can't pass us unless they get like a 10-0 victory. So worst scenario is 4th place, best case scenario is 1st place, so top 4 essentially is guaranteed. Of course, our opponents Atalanta are in 7th on 14 points, and they're trying to secure a top 8 spot. They're of course guaranteed qualification already to the next round, but they rather of course finish in that top 8 than finish in the 9th to 24 knockout phase category. That's definitely a possibility. If of course we do end up beating them and other teams around them win, they could easily drop out because they're barely in the top 8. So they're fighting for a hell of a lot more than Barcelona, which of course will make this match even more interesting. Let's now take a look at our opponents in Atalanta. Like I just mentioned, so far in the Champions League, they've done very well. They've been a very upcoming team in Serie A over the past, I would say, 5 to 6 years under their manager, who we will talk about in just a few seconds. And like I mentioned in the intro, these two teams have never faced each other, at least in Champions League competition. Maybe there's a friendly that I've never seen before, but in Champions League competition in my lifetime, we have never played Atalanta in an official competitive competition, so this will be the first time. Now if you take a look at Atalanta's last 6 matches in all competition, in their last match they beat Como 2-1, they beat some team in the Champions League 5-0, they lost to Napoli 3-2, they drew 1-1 with Juventus, 0-0 with Udinese, and they lost in the semi-final of the Italian Supercoppa 2-0 to the eventual losers in the final in Inter Milan. But let's take a look at their last 3 league games in all competition. Firstly is the 1-1 draw with Juventus, a very tight game. You can see on the screen here the formation, how Atalanta do set up. They do set up in a 3-back formation with the 2 dip pivots in a front 3, with one of them most likely being the attacking midfielders, and more so of a front 2 with someone in behind as a false 9 or attacking midfielder. That's how they usually set up. This match was very tight, again against 2 of the better teams in Serie A. Atalanta did go 1-0 up, but it wasn't enough, and then Juventus pulled one. I think actually Juventus went 1-0 up. I think it was the defender that's on loan from AC Milan, Kalulu, who got on the score sheet. But Juventus did have a few chances at goal, probably more so than Atalanta, but in the end the points were shared. Next game is their 3-2 loss to Napoli at home as well. This was a different affair, where they were dominant for, I would say, a good chunk of the game, but couldn't really get over the line. Napoli were just really clinical. I believe Scott McTominay, Lukaku, and Somo and Guisa were the scorers for Napoli, if I'm not mistaken. Do not quote me on that. Atalanta were still in the game for the majority of the fixture. Their front 2, Retegui and Lookman, getting on the score sheet, but very much an even affair. And when Atalanta do play the better teams in Serie A, the game is very much open. They don't really tend to sit back. They play free flowing football. Everything's always with them mindset of getting a goal and going in the attacking transition. But in the end of this game, it wasn't enough for them, and their final match in all competition was over the course of the past weekend, where they did win 2-1 against Fabregas' side in Como. Now, to be fair, Como did dominate this game. They were the home team, of course. They went 1-0 up with a Nico pass goal, which is an absolute cracker. And then the Retegi scored, I believe, a brace in the space of 7 minutes in the 70th minute of the game. Como felt hard done by. There was, of course, that video going around of Fabregas giving a team talk saying they played really well. They were the dominant side, but in the end, you could say Atalanta nicked it. So they're coming to this match after a very, very poor showing, but getting a result in Serie A, which they should be getting. But again, a team that can definitely be got at. So overall, final thoughts on Atalanta. They're a very, very strong team. I believe they're coming to this UEFA Champions League campaign as the Europa League winners, and they're very well managed by the manager Gasperini, who's been at the helm now for the past 8 years. He's the one that's kind of led this resurgence of Atalanta in Italian football as of late, and he's got the team playing fantastically well, making them very difficult and a very dangerous team. In terms of players to look out for, I was going to say Adama Lukman, who has been linked with Barcelona a little bit, but he did get injured in training this morning and will miss the game against Barcelona tomorrow. So their best player missing the game tomorrow. Of course, Tegi up front is doing very well for them lately. Others in the midfield, fantastic. Kolasinac, Darun, Zappa Costa, very, very good team. They have, cheeky players here and there that have the experience. That attack midfielder that was from Juventus as well, especially the P, I forget his name. Scamacca still is injured, so he will not be available for this game. But again, they are missing their best players. That will have maybe a tiny bit of an effect, but still a fantastic team nonetheless that needs to be taken with extreme caution. Now, heading into this match, we do have a big injury update as the club did confirm this morning after the training session. Andreas Christensen has suffered a sole's injury in his right foot and will be out for 3 weeks. This does definitely conclude the career of Andreas Christensen at Barcelona. The guy is a fantastic player, definitely of the quality and level of Barcelona, but this guy cannot stay fit to save his life. He was out already for half the season. He got the medical green light, in December, just for the Betis game, not even 2 weeks ago, and he's out for basically another month. Again, cries in the media, not getting minutes and blah blah blah, but can't even stay fit for more than 2 weeks. The guy's a liability. He'll probably be gone this summer for about 30 million or so, with us having a lot of center back coverage anyways. Like I mentioned, when he was injured for that first half of the season, if he gets injured again, especially in the first month or two, get him gone. So I'm not going to be changing my stance whatsoever. Christensen out for 3 weeks, and his Barcelona career is probably going to be out the door in the summer as well. Some other updates as well. This morning in the training session, there was a big screen installed and everyone's losing their minds and marbles about this. There was, I believe, video of a screen installed in preseason as well, so it really doesn't come as a surprise to me anyways. Everyone's losing their balls about it, but yeah, Flick has it there for tactical analysis, so during the training session they can stop and watch the screen and blah blah blah. Pretty cool, of course, that we're getting to that kind of level. We never really had that. We of course have that clip of Julian Nagelsmann when he was at Leipzig when they had, or Hoffenheim, where they had that huge screen. So something like that's pretty cool, but something that was caught by the media this afternoon in the training session. Time now to get into the press conference reaction of Alejandro Balde. Of course, as we know, in UEFA Champions League competition, a player always accompanies a manager in the presser, and Alejandro Balde was selected today. So let's get to see what he had to say this afternoon in the presser. He was firstly asked about the game. He said this is a very important match, even though we're already qualified. Atalanta's a great rival. We're in great form and we want to go for 3 points. And asked on his best friend Ansu Fati not getting any minutes and barely being in the squad list, saying that look, he's one of my best friends, but he wants to improve and help. He's an incredible talent and he will return. Lamine is the best in the world. I have full confidence that he will go further as well. On the Barcelona goal records, and that we're scoring a lot of goals and creating chances, but we are not focused on records but on winning games and titles. This is what we are talking about in the dressing room. He then asked on the racist chance in the Getafe game if there's any resolution so far. He said, look, it's a complicated situation. I received several threats. I don't know what to say. Just because 3 or 4 people insult you doesn't mean you have to generalize the whole of Spanish football. I think I did the right thing by informing people. I don't care if they call me black. I'm black and I'm proud of it. I'm surprised why Getafe fans are being racist when they do have a black captain. So we'll see what happens in that situation. That's why we saw Lian Thuram come to Barcelona and speak with the players about racism and how to deal with it and things like that, what to do in those situations. So nice to see that Barcelona are taking a step forward in that regards. While they asked about the young players, and look, we understand each other very well. We are very young. At 21, I seem like a veteran. Pedri's 22. We share hobbies, jokes, and have a good time. It is the good thing about this team. On his personal improvement, my first season was very good. Second season was more complicated. I was injured for 6 months. It's not easy to come back. Not all of us are like Pedri or Lamine, who are born with incredible talent. I'm very young, and I'm still learning on Inaki Peña situations, and I think he's doing well. I spent a lot of time with Inaki Peña. He's one of the hardest workers on the team, the first one to arrive, not in Saudi. And the last one to leave. I think he's doing very, very well. On the room for improvements, and look, I'm only 21 years old. In football, people are spoiled. At that age, they expect you to be the best player in the world. I can improve in attack and defense, but I'm a starter for Barcelona, and that's already not easy. On prioritizing the Champions League, so look, our idea is always compete for all titles. We don't have to focus on one or the other. We are Barcelona. We have to go for everything. And finally, he was asked on the screen that was installed in the training, saying, like, during training, Flick stops to correct actions and to show us the video. He has actually been doing this all season. And that included Alejandro Balde's press conference reaction ahead of the match against Atalanta tomorrow. Time now for the press conference reaction of the manager Hansi Flick, who of course spoke after Alejandro Balde this afternoon. Let's get and see what he had to say this afternoon in the presser. First, he starts off by saying that I have a lot of respect for Gasperini. His work is incredible. He has been at Atalanta for 8 years. You see what happens when a club trusts a coach. I like the way they play, and they of course score a lot of goals. Asking if the Champions League is a priority, saying that for me the league is the most important thing. At the end of the season, we will take stock. Champions League, as I said before, is probably the most difficult tournament to win. It's very important to beat Atalanta to end the season in the best way possible in the sense of the group stage part. Also, Frankie de Jong, his improvements, and I'm focused on what's happening now. Deco is doing his job. Frankie is performing well as a 6, as an 8, and he's doing well in these matches. Then, as on the situation, the goalkeeper, why he chose Tech last second ahead of Peña, saying that, look, I know what I'm going to say good about Tech. It seems like Inaki's coming out weakened. I don't like that. My decision is chosen for the goalkeeper. They are both very good goalkeepers, great goalkeepers. We have decided to go for Tech tomorrow. I always look for the best for them, and at the moment, that is what I see, although Inaki Peña is still doing very well. On the transfer market, well, there are things we have it, so you know better than I do. It's not easy for the club. I've always said that I'm happy with the players that we currently have, with the team that we have, with the atmosphere. We can achieve a lot of success this season. On the Camp Nou and maybe the Clasico being somewhere else, and I have not been notified about anything. To be honest, we will inform. They will probably inform me and tell me if we go to the Camp Nou, and I'll be very happy about that. But at the moment, we are still playing in the Montjuic. On the most difficult decision, the goalkeeper position, said that, look, it's always a very difficult decision. The goalkeeper is a very special position. It's the most important and most difficult decision I have made as a coach, which is quite crazy. On his position for the round 16, said that we want to finish second in the Champions League group stages. I think he means, he thinks probably Liverpool will not lose to PSV, so that's why he's saying second place there. And finally, he was asked on Atalanta, and it's always difficult to play against Italian teams because they're very defensive. Atalanta play one-on-one all over the pitch. They make a very quick transition, and we have talked about this with the team today in the training session. And that included Hansi Flick's press conference reaction ahead of the match against Atalanta tomorrow. Let's now get into the lineup prediction. We're going to start from the manager, of course, Hansi Flick. I'm going to try my best with this lineup. I think it will be pretty easy to predict, especially with the rotation this past weekend against Valencia. I think that Flick will select this lineup on the screen right now. I think I'll go with Szczesny in goal, a back four of Kounde, Araujo, Cubarsi, and Balde, a midfield three of Casado, Pedri, and Gavi, and a front three of Lewandowski, and Raphinha. You're probably thinking Fermin Lopez and De Jong should probably start this game after their fantastic performance against Valencia, but I don't think Flick is really on that kind of vibe. I think he kind of knows his best 11. He'll stick with it unless someone is injured, and then when that injured player comes back, whoever replaces that injured player plays well, he'll keep them in. I think Gavi will for sure start the game after being fully rested against Valencia. Same with Pedri as well. So you're really thinking Casado, De Jong, Fermin Lopez battling for that one position, you could say. I wouldn't be surprised if it's De Jong or Fermin, but I think he will stay with Casado, get that ball winner in there against a team that's very quick in transition, like he mentioned in the press conference, like Atalanta. Front three and pack five pretty much pick itself. It's really that midfield three that can have the question marks, so to speak. He could maybe make some more rotations, maybe rest Lamine or Raphinha for Ferran. That could be a case as well, but I think he will go fairly strong for this game and then hopefully go out for the win and then rotate with his subs. I think Flick's philosophy very much is play to get the most out of your players and then rest them when needs to be during the games. I believe that Flick will go very strong and select this lineup on the screen right now, but of course in the comments down below, let me know what you think Hansi Flick will select. Now I'm going to show you guys my lineup, what I would do if I was a Barcelona coach. I made a few changes just for the heck of it, really. No logic behind it whatsoever. Front three stays the same for me. Midfield three, I have started Fermin Lopez and De Jong after their great performance against Valencia. I don't think Casado's really done enough to really displace De Jong, and although I love Gavi and I wouldn't mind starting Gavi, I mean, Fermin Lopez just dropped a 10 out of 10 performance. There's no way you cannot not start him after that. Is kind of my perspective anyway, so that's what I've gone with. Made a few rotation in the defense, which because I think the defense needs it. Eric Garcia for Cubarsi. Eric Garcia played alright against Valencia. Of course, had that one mistake, but maybe with Araujo beside him, we can try and nullify that a bit. I go with Hector Fort for Kounde as well, so I mean the risk Kounde. He has the most minutes in the team. Give him a little bit of rest. Hector Fort did pretty well in that 20 minutes he came on against Valencia, and in a game like this against Atalanta, I think he can definitely do a job. So a little bit of rotation for me, not crazy, but definitely enough to keep the team as fresh and as competitive as possible. But of course, in the comments down below, let me know if you'd rather pick my lineup or Flick's lineup. Time now for my score prediction. What do I believe the result will be in this match? I think it's going to be a draw. I forgot what the 1-1 draw. It could be a 2-2 draw. I wouldn't be surprised with that either. I just think that Barcelona, all they need is a draw. Atalanta would take a draw as well because they're still fighting for the top 8. I think it'll be a tight game against a defensive team like Atalanta. Well, not really a defensive team, but a defensively set up team that are very, very difficult to deal with. Barcelona aren't really used to facing. We used to face 5 backs, not really 3 backs, where teams are more open but still they feel like they have numbers in behind when you're playing. Despite me thinking Flick is going to go fairly strong, I think this game will be difficult regardless. Of course, we have that Champions League aura in the group stages this season, so I could definitely be wrong here. I don't think we'll lose the game, but I think there will be, I mean, again, it's the last game. I say drop points. It's not really drop points because, it's just, the game means really nothing for Barcelona. Just get the draw, at least a draw to secure second place. But I think that in the end, it will be a tight game, which will result in a draw. So my prediction is going to be a draw for this game. But of course, in the comments down below, let me know what you think the scoreline will be. So that was a match preview for Barcelona versus Atalanta in the Champions League. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, of course, make sure you drop a like down below. And of course, in the comments down below as well, let me know your thoughts on everything we did discuss. Main thing I want to firstly, of course, is your score prediction. And secondly, on those lineups. Firstly, to pick my lineup or Flick's lineup. What do you think Flick will go with? What would you go with? If you're the manager, leave me all your thoughts down below. And of course, make sure you guys subscribe down below as well if you haven't already. And I will see you guys tomorrow for the live watch along. Set the reminder on the screen and come and join me and watch the game with me. Follow after the match by my match reviews. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Let's try and get 3 points and maybe hopefully finish first. If not, secure second place. Take care and Forza Barca.
Go,